Alright, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. I hope you're having a good one. Today we're tying a weighted variation on a bend back baitfish. It's a handy wee pattern. I'm looking forward to using it around here in Wellington. I actually haven't tried them yet, but it's one I'm looking forward to giving a nudge. Wellington's got a lot of deeper water around its harbours, which I'm looking forward to exploring. I thought this would be a good way to get some patterns down a bit deeper and hopefully avoid snagging up on anything along the bottom, be it weed or rocks. Hopefully catching some fish with it. We'll crack into what it is. It's using a cool hook from Ahrex. It's the bend back, sorry, it's the SA250 shrimp hook, but it's got that lovely little bend in it, which is a key point of those bend back bait fish. You used to see people actually bending the hooks themselves to do it, but this one comes nice and prepared for you. Thread wise, using Semperfli Nano Silk in white. This is 6 or 100 denier. We then got some small pearl coloured dumbbell eyes. We've got the Semperflash mirror tinsel for the body, predator fibres for the wing, I guess you'd say, and some blue crystal flash as well, just to give it a bit more flash through the body, and some orange marker just to give it some barring. And then we've got the red sparkle dubbing, just to give that little look of those, flash of gills or little injured fish. You can also tie it without that crystal flash over the top. But we'll crack into it. I hope it's a handy one for you, and we'll see how we go. Happy tying. Cheers. Alright. Get your hook in place and your vise. Secure it in there. Like any pattern though, we're going to start with our thread base. Nothing overly difficult here, but just get it started. It's going to give that surface for your materials to grip onto. I'm just going to build it down the hook. Just nice touching wraps. I've said it before in other videos, if you hold onto your tag end and hold it out 45 degrees from the hook, it just pushes it all in on each other neatly. Rather fitting t-shirt for the occasion. It's a new Desolve one featuring the GT. Quite a cool t-shirt, but definitely fitting attire for a saltwater pattern today. And once we've got that tied in, we're trim away the tag end. We're going to bring it back to near the front of the hook, where we're going to tie in dumbbell eyes. This adds a bit of volume to the body as well. Put a bit of something there. You want to tie in the eye for this. I like it about an hook eye length back. I'm just going to build up 2 little balls of dubbing, which is just going to give me a little bit of a spot to tie my hook in, my eye in, sorry. Just like, gives you a little marker of where you're going to go. It just likes it to set in there nicely as well. But we'll move on to that eye. Alright, so I like to put just a little spot of glue in where we're going to be putting our eye. It doesn't do too much at this point, but as we wrap our thread around, it'll help out. And then just lay the eye down so that the middle of it is over the middle in between those 2 little thread dams you made. And we're going to start securing it in. It can be a bit wobbly to begin with, but we're doing little bits of just crisscrossing the thread as you go, which will pull it back out straight. we'll use quite a bit of thread to tie it in here, and I'll just give it a little twist to really get it in. But you really want to secure it on. I might do a few in front, a few behind, crisscross it over. And then when I'm about 3/4 of the way there, with however many wraps I want to do, just once again, a little bit of your glue. It just helps to bind those threads and secure them. And just do a few more wraps. That's all going to get absorbed in, and oh, sorry, the old VISE one to go walkabout on me. Once you've got it tied in, we'll move into that flash for the body. Alright, onto the mirror pearl for the body. It's a cool material. You can kind of see it there, it's all sorts of shades of blues and greens. There's some pinks through there and purples. And it's got quite a, I'd say, a crinkly sort of texture to it, which is why I prefer it to, you know, like a flat tinsel or something. I think it gives it just a bit of texture to the body, and doesn't make it quite so uniform. So I'll start it off tying it in. I'll usually move the thread back a wee ways from the eye. Just get a couple thread wraps over top of it to secure it, and then just pull it in so that we can secure it. Might get a little bit sticking out, but that's alright. We can tidy that up in a minute. Now, the old saltwater flies, they do take a bit of a hammering. So it's up to you. You could put some UV resin over top of it. I'm not a big fan of that. It ages, and I don't know, it doesn't look as great after a while. Or you can just, once again, use just a little bit of glue along the hook shank. It just gives it a little bit more to stick to. Again, like a lot of flies, you know, you start seeing them getting torn up a little bit, and they seem to do alright, if not better, but it at least holds it all in there. Or you could run your thread back down and sort of do a ribbing with that. But just grab all your strands of that mirror flash and just start wrapping it up the body. Once we get there, we're actually going to get to the eye. We're actually going to use this to make a little bit of flash in the underwing as well. So just tie this along until we get to the eye, and just put a couple wraps in there. And just secure it in, and just manipulate those strands of flash so that they're now tied off underneath the shank of your hook. And then I'll just cut them off at the length of the hook bend, maybe just slightly longer. And then we'll move on to our sparkle dubbing. Alright, little sparkle dubbing gills. Now for those of you who use sparkle dubbing, know it's a very long fibre. That's actually folded in half. But what we're going to do, now you could try to tie it straight on, and you're going to end up having to deal with tying off all the butt ends and having a little tag of it. But a little trick, if you get it wrapped over your tying thread, you can pull it back and just tie it in like that. That just gets it secured on top, and you're tying in what would otherwise be the butt ends of it. Just a couple wraps, you don't need much to secure that in, to be fair. And then we're just going to trim it off so it's just a tag, and you're good to go. We'll get that wing tied in now. Alright, for the wing we're using Predator Fibres. This is in a colour called Open Water Blue. It's really cool, it's got like some very light blues through it. It's like, I guess you'd call it a baby bluish kind of colour. And white fibres, which makes for a cool mix. And you cut it away from the shank materials or hanker materials. It's quite square, but if you just pinch it gently with your one hand and pull it with the other, you can pull it out into that tapered shape there. Just little tugs at it and just slowly tease it out. I like to use less. I like to make kind of a translucent kind of body. That's across the board with most of my saltwater patterns, be it bait fish, shrimp, whatever. Funnily enough, this isn't too much of a jump from something like a gotcha or something like that. A few rubber legs, you've probably got a good shrimp. But I'll pinch it off, use just a bit longer than the hook bend, so you just want it sticking past that hook bend, and you're just going to pull your thread up. Materials want to roll around the hook the way you're pulling it, so if you just pull like that, if you start tightening, it's going to wrap around. One thing I've learnt is if you get it on there, or under there, and then you can just take your thread and pull it up, and that's going to secure it on the bottom. So if you tighten your wraps as you go up, it'll tighten it to the bottom of the shank. And vice versa, if you're doing it on the top or on the side, just whatever side you're wanting to tie it onto, tighten it that way. And we'll just secure that in. We're just going to build up a bit of a head here as well. Alright. And we'll just put in that blue Kystal flash over the wing. Alright, second to last step, I guess you'd say, given we've still got some marking to put on it. But we've got our blue Kystal flash here, or crystal pearl. I've just grabbed about 3 or 4 strands and folded it in half. And I run this along the top of the pattern. You could use like just a normal crystal pearl, much like, where have we got it here? I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but you know, like that sort of colour. I quite like this just to add a bit more, I don't want to say depth of colour to the pattern, but it gives it some flash, and it gives it that slightly darker colour on top of it. We're just going to secure that much how we did the Predator fibres, just using that up motion to tighten it to the top, and then we'll trim away the tag ends. And we'll just build up just a little bit of a head here. Probably not much, we're pretty much there. And I will whip finish this off. And for those of you who try to get your head around, I'll try to show it best I can. But you got your little hook part there, hook that over your top of your thread as it comes off towards you. Loop that around, get it in that little notch, bring it back over top of the thread, and then just wrap around. After we've done this, we're going to put some markings on it. And handy little tool at the bottom of this, just cut that away. Might need to sharpen that. And finally, head cement. Again, if you want, you could use a UV resin, but the saltwater patterns, I'm happy just with some of this. It's chewed up pretty quick, but it's all good. Right, I'll try to show this best I can. If you look on the top, you can see that the wing has gone to one side of the hook. I'll just pinch it, pull it up, and try to get it all sort of evenly dispersed there. From that point, got a little orange marker. Using orange just because I like the look of it. You could use blue, black, purple, whatever you wanted. You could use a few different colours even. You're going to get orange on that flash underneath. That doesn't matter. It's all good. It just adds to it, I guess. So trying to keep it in focus here as best as we can. But a little bit of, you just put a little bit around the head of it there. There you go. It's a bit better. I'll just hold it with my fingers and just on both sides just pass the marker through it until you get those barring marks on there, but do more through it, but I don't think we're going to get it on film too easily. But that's it. There's a little bait fish. Right, there we have it, one bend back bait fish. I've taken it out of the VISE for this last little part, gives you a bit more of an idea of how it sits in the water. Those hook dumbbell eyes will obviously get it riding hook point up. which keeps that hook point well clear of the any foul on the bottom of the seabed, be it rocks or weed or sticks or whatever. Again, the shape of the hook helps with that as well, but we've got some little white, or pearl I think they're called, small dumbbell eyes, white Semperfli Nano silk, open water predator fibres, the Semperflash mirror pearl for the body, and those little sparkly bits underneath, blue crystal flash, some red sparkle dubbing, and you're away laughing. Fun wee saltwater pattern, hopefully one you'll enjoy tying, and hopefully one you enjoy catching fish on. But happy tying. See you next time. Cheers.